first time I started to notice Pirkle was in high school. I would see him around every once in a while and I'd be like, that's a cute boy. And he just seemed different than everyone else.
We were just friends and we talked every once in a while, but not a ton.
We didn't really date or anything in high school. That was just like the end of that. I just thought it was really cool and he was sweet.
And then in college, I just always kind of followed her on social media and whatnot. And then I just realized that she was in Mexico and I wanted to know how it was going.
So basically a year and a half later, he asked me out when I was in Mexico. He asked to hear about Mexico, so we got coffee like a couple days when I got back, and we just talked about Mexico and how the trip was and our life stories, and we got to tell each other our testimonies, which was really cool.
And I don't count that as the first date. That was just like a first hangout after we hadn't really ever intentionally talked.
So that's technically the date that I think is our first date, but he thinks our first date was like a couple weeks later when we went to go see Moana, and he asked me out and he said that he wanted to pay for it, and then we went to go see Moana. And he didn't hold my hand until the last 5 minutes of the movie, and I really wish he did because the whole time I was just like, why aren't you holding my hand?
We didn't hold hands until the last 5 minutes, and I honestly don't really remember the movie either because I was nervous the whole time. And then afterwards we went and got coffee, and that was when I knew that it was going well, because who wants to get coffee after a movie at 9 o'clock at night?
We actually went to Joshua Tree, and he asked me to be his girlfriend, and then I told him that I was leaving for Florida to work at Disney World for 6 months, and he already knew that, and then so he was like aware of it, and he was like, I still want to date you, like I still think this is like important.
We had a conversation to see if we knew that it was worth it or not, and we had always been interested in each other, and so we figured that since we actually started talking and hanging out and whatnot, we decided that it was worth it, even though 2 weeks later she was going to Disney World for a year. Well, it's supposed to be 6 months, and then it got extended because she just loved it a lot.
Which was like hard at first, but I think it got easier the longer that the more work we put into it, and we were reading books long distance, and like we were calling each other. And I think it got like better, but also harder at the same time because we just wanted to see each other all the time.
We just really thought it was worth it, and so it was really hard. Like, long distance relationships are not amazing by any means, but we made it work, and it really was like, it had its enjoyable moments, and you do weird things like watch movies together even though you're not with each other, and it's really strange, but it's worth it.
Andrew actually told me that he wanted to propose a year after we started dating. When I got back from Florida, I was like, okay, like I want to marry you, like anytime.
I knew that she was worth it to date, and we'd already been dating for 2 years, and so I was like, wow, this is even more worth it than I ever thought it would be. And she's really just an amazing woman. Like, she complements everything in my life, like the things that I'm bad at, she's amazing at. I don't love to socialize. She's super socializing, and I like to chill, and she likes to be high energy, and so we complement each other really well, and when we challenge each other in the best ways, and she keeps me humble. She reminds me of what things are relevant in life and what things are not.
I knew I wanted to marry Pirkle 4 months in, which was crazy, but he just is really special and sweet and loves everyone and pursues me in a very special way.
Recognizing that she has all of those characteristics, that's really when I knew, like, okay, this is who I want to marry, and like, marriage is serious to me and I'm excited about it, but she's definitely the one that I want to marry and be with forever.
And then so about 2.5 years into dating, we started talking about actually getting engaged. He was showing me pictures of rings, and we were going ring shopping.
And then just really thinking through like, okay, where am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do it? What day? And all these things. And so she was going away for 2 months, and I was like, all right, I can either do it before the 2 months or I can do it after the 2 months. But we were both like excited about it and we wanted to get engaged.
And he was like talking to my family about it. So I knew it was coming up, I just didn't know exactly when it was gonna happen.
You ever been to this random place called the Huntington Gardens? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, cool, like, we'll go there. It's a cool flower place. She loves flowers. And so that's where we ended up going on the Saturday in the morning.
When he proposed, I wasn't expecting it until the middle of the day because we were at this like really pretty garden.
And we were there for a little bit, and she definitely thought that I was gonna propose there because it was during the day and it was a pretty place, but I did not, and I think she was sad about that.
And it was just like so beautiful that I was like, he has to do it right now, like this is gonna happen. And then I got really sad because it didn't.
But in my head I was like, please just wait like 3 hours, like I promise it's coming. Like I know why you're sad, but I can't really talk about it because then you'll know. So I didn't, and it was awkward. We just went to LA afterwards, and I was like, oh yeah, there's this cool like vegan Mexican food restaurant. And I already knew that it was a fancy restaurant in Beverly Hills.
We don't really eat fancy food, we always eat Taco Bell, so I was like, what's going on?
But we got there and I was like, oh dang, I didn't realize this was in Beverly Hills, what the heck, like this is crazy, whatever, like I already made reservations. Don't ask me why I made reservations. I was nervous the whole time, I didn't really get to eat a lot, but it was still cool. And so she already thought like, oh, he's not gonna propose because the sun went down, but little did she know.
And then we went to the Lights at the Art Museum, and that's just like a special place for us.
So we were taking photos of her, and I was like, here, look. And then she was looking at her photos, I got down on one knee.
And then he like took a picture of me and then showed it to me and then proposed, so that was sweet. I obviously said no. What I'm looking forward to the most about marrying Andrew is just waking up in the morning and like making coffee together and breakfast and just like being able to like hang out in the morning.
We get married in like 5 months. There's so much. There's so many things that are wild, that are exciting, that are make you nervous, that are just different. We love playing board games and we love just making food for people and just hanging out and getting to know people, and I want to do that as a married couple so that we can show Christ through our marriage.
What I'm most nervous about for marriage is me wanting to hang out with Andrew all the time and him needing to be his own person and me needing to be my own person. But I just like want to hang out with my best friend all the time.
I think the crazy part is we already know each other and like she knows everything about me, but when you come in a marriage and you really, really know each other, like that's kind of crazy. Like no one ever in your life has ever known all of you except God. And that's crazy, and it makes me nervous, but in a good way, just because it's never happened before. And so it's like, oh, what does this look like? And it's gonna take a whole lifetime for her to get to know every part of me and for me to get to know every part of her. But it's exciting, and it's also nerve-wracking at the same time. Starting a family, interacting with our families, figuring out our lives, all the things I'm excited for also make me nervous.